So Tom Lee kind of disagrees with you. He doesn't say that they did the tariff thing right, but Tom Lee would agree with Brian Wong and say peak uncertainty is in. He says peak fear is in, but he says that doesn't mean that peak pain is in. He thinks that we could go back down to 4,800 on the S&P again, or close to it, but somewhere around that. But he feels as if that the worst news about the tariffs is in.
I don't think it's begun.
Okay.
I don't think it's begun. I think we face a series of crises as we begin to learn the damage that's been done.
Okay.
You can't negotiate this thing over a few months. You have to negotiate these in days or weeks. You can't do it over a few months because supply chains just stop abruptly. And we learned people should have seen in COVID how long it takes to get supply chains revamped. And now they can't just revamp them. They have to change them entirely. Right. And there just isn't capacity. There isn't productive capacity to change them. So my answer is that I don't think we have begun to see the problem yet. That's why I'm so negative and pessimistic. And that's why I would, if I were the Fed chair, I would be out ahead of this problem by a very significant amount.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so Tom Lee says his opposition to your point would be that companies are very resilient, responsive, that they will move more quickly than we expect. He didn't necessarily.
Well, it didn't happen in COVID.
Well, COVID was a different problem in that you were that you were actually shut down. You couldn't even go to work. People couldn't even go to the building. So you had a complete stop.
But right now, as you and I are talking, China have shut down. I don't think Tom Lee is aware of this.
Well,
if he is, then his point is completely spurious. China has shut down manufacturing, literally. China cannot ship goods to the United States because the cost of shipping far exceeds the cost of berthing those ships.
Right.
So the supply chains from China have shut down. And the supply chains of China generate $4 trillion of revenue for retailers and wholesalers and industry combined. That is a huge proportion of GDP. It's a gigantic proportion of GDP. What resiliency can you have in that circumstance?
Well, I'm gonna clap back a little bit. Is that China doesn't just sell to the United States. I think we're about less than 20% of their total exports, something in that ballpark, around 20%. So they ship to the rest of Asia. In fact, their number one trading partner, I think, is Australia or something. You and I went down this road one day. We talked about how much business they do, even with Japan, their arch enemy. But they also ship to Europe. They ship to Africa. They're very, very active in Africa and South America. So they have a lot in Canada and Mexico. So the United States is a big piece of their business, but it isn't. They're not going to shut down their factories if 80%.
They have shut them down. I mean, you say that, I hear what you say, but they've shut them down. They've literally shut down factories. Now, whether they selectively shut down the factories that ship to the United States, that's an open issue, and maybe that's what they've done. But they've shut down factories, and they can't ship to the United States. So you say to me, China can still ship to other countries, but they cannot ship to the United States. And you say, it's only $4 trillion or whatever it is. But it is a huge proportion of their business, and it is easily the most profitable portion of their business.
I'm not saying this is not hurting China, which shocks me that they're not being more aggressive in responding, even if they're they're hurt, their feelings are hurt.
How much more aggressive could they respond?
You pick up the phone and you say, "Hey, President Trump, come on over here and let's sit down." That's what I would do.
That's not being aggressive. That's being participating. That's being negotiating.
Right.
They're not negotiating.
Yeah.
They've shut down their factories.
That's what okay. So I meant aggressive in response, aggressive in trying to put something together.
Yeah, well, I think they're being confrontational.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100% there. If you happen to be a big fan of the Cybertruck, you might also be interested in this super fun Cybertruck refrigerator magnet and bottle opener. It is made out of super thick stainless steel, just like the Cybertruck, and it has this giant magnet on the back, so it's going to hold a lot of stuff on your refrigerator. It's an amazing gift, and it comes in that great gift box that you saw before that uses a magnet opener, just almost like an Apple box, you know, like when you get Apple products. You can buy it on Amazon for $29.95, or you can buy it direct from me by sending $25 to paypal.me/Randy Kirk, all in lowercase letters. Please indicate whether you want the stainless steel look, or maybe you'd like to have this very clever camo version. And then if you're not in the US, please add $20 for freight. If you'd like more than one, please check the information below to get pricing, as well as all that information I just told you will be repeated in the information below. So once again, think about joining the channel, getting the up-to-date Tesla news every single day. I think you'll be glad you did.